Hi there, welcome back to a very quick episode looking at AMC and the moves that we have seen with AMC stock today. So of course, looking at how the stock has been going today, we can see a lot of volatility, which was to be expected, but unfortunately, overall we are finishing down about 3.8% according to Google. So the question is, should you buy AMC now? Because over the past few days, things really are coming down ever so slightly, or should you carry on holding your shares? Well, of course, I am not a financial advisor, so it is definitely recommended that you do your own research. But in this one, I'm giving you all of my personal opinions. If you may enjoy this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's jump into the episode. Right then, so looking at AMC in the past month, of course, a lot of volatility has come into this stock. A lot of boosting has happened to this stock because of Reddit Wall Street Bets, as we already know, and that is when we saw these initial highs earlier in the last month, of course, of February, where the share price increased massively. Now, from there, we sold off significantly. This took us to around the high $5 range, mid $5 range, where we were pretty stable around the $5.61 point for quite some time. Now, of course, a lot of people were thinking that this stock is dead, and that would have been a fair assumption to make, don't get me wrong, but of course a Reddit article came out just a bit later talking about the fact that a lot of people were still holding shares, and that was the reason why this stock wasn't moving. Now, of course, a lot of people then got very optimistic about this stock, thinking that they could trigger a squeeze, and that is why we saw a lot more people buying, obviously trying to increase the volume of shares traded, and of course forcing up the price in the process. So earlier this week, I believe we saw highs of actually around $9.09, and of course from there we have been coming down ever so slightly, and of course this was last Wednesday, but yeah, from that point we can see we are down about 5.61%. But basically, since this Monday, we are down even more significantly with a 6% drop in a matter of 3 days. So the question is, should you worry or should you keep holding? Well, like I said, looking at this one from the 1st of March, we can see things are pretty stable, to be honest, but we are still down. Now, it is only about 3% down, so it's not too concerning in my opinion yet. I definitely think this one still could be a fantastic buy. As we have seen in the past, this stock definitely can be a sleeper, which goes on for a few days without a lot of action before rocketing in price, and that is something which people do need to take into account. On the other hand, though, we do need to give a balanced argument and look at the other side and what could potentially happen if this doesn't go to plan. Well, of course, there is also the other potential, which this one could see a bit of a sell-off and continue to drop in price if people have lost interest in this stock. Now, right now, in my opinion, it is too soon to say whether people aren't interested in this one for that short term. Obviously, long term, I do think it is a fantastic hold if you bought it at the right price. But I think, you know what, guys, going into the next few days, it's going to be pretty crucial to see what happens with AMC. I think if we can remain flat for the next few days, even if it was taking us ever so slightly to the downside, I would not be too worried. I think another reason, which I have talked about in the past, is I think a lot of people who'd have bought in at the previous highs are probably, leaving the stock now if they'd have bought in perhaps at this point here of around $7.82, or at least in that region. It would make sense for them to leave right now, probably taking a little bit of profit in the process, so I can completely understand why a lot of people have probably sold out once it did reach that point. But overall, guys, there is still a lot of hype around the stock. There's a lot of interest on this one. I definitely think it could explode going forwards into the future. Obviously, for that explosion, for that extreme growth, it is a speculative play, but long term, from a fundamental standpoint, it is a solid company, as we have talked about in the past. But please tell me what you are doing with this stock down below. I would love to see this one be flat tomorrow, but if we can get back on the growth, it would also be fantastic. But you know what? If we can remain flat, it would be reassuring. If we come down a little bit in price tomorrow, again, not too concerned, unless it drops off a cliff, but if we can come down a little bit as well, I would not be too worried. But if that was the case, I would not buy shares tomorrow. I would leave it for a day or two just to be safe and see where we are going with this stock. But honestly, a lot of interest is still around this one, and I would love to see what happens with it going forwards. Please tell me in the comment section what you think is going to happen. I will try to respond to each comment as fast as I can. Thank you for watching, though. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.